one. Take us away.
Hello and welcome to Glitch Point. And yes, we are aware that it is Friday, but screw
Special
you. We're still
Friday
doing the
1 p.m.
show.
edition.
Yeah, it's always special when we bring it late. I
Yeah.
know you guys are hungry, and we're gonna deliver. So I think that our biggest news point, which we might as well start, is there's more news about the Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
Um, it a couple of things that when I heard this, I'm like, the first thing I thought was I'm surprised it's not out because they did the PlayStation 4 reveal.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, it's not out to the public, but I know there's developers doing it, like using it already.
yeah, what do you have to do to get? You just have to ask for like a
Yeah.
developer kit, and then
Yeah, I don't
I mean
know.
it's not
Like,
a
cause
kit,
I
I
mean, I
guess.
don't. I don't know how like bigger studio like the Gears of War franchise. I think it depends on the studio. Like Gears of War is a good example of that has been using Unreal Engine since the start, and they push the engine forward on the side. Like
Yeah,
Epic definitely pushes forward, but there are things like Gears does that a lot of other Unreal games don't do. So I think for them it was very easy to get Unreal 5 early. And then I know the other one was Hellblade. Again, another studio that uses the engine is really good with it. So I think it's just if you're big enough, you know.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure they want hits, using that just to propagate the idea that professionals use this engine, so that
Yeah.
way they can then sell it to everybody else or sell it on the back end.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it's still a back end deal, right? I mean, it's like you get it's you can use it for free up to a certain uh, after you make a certain amount, then you have to start giving them a
Um,
percentage,
I
or
can't
is it right
remember.
off?
I can't remember how Unreal Engine does their compensation. Because yeah, that's how Unity works. After you make like a certain amount of money, um, but I can't remember because Unreal also has a lot of like caveats to that. Like if you make your game in Unreal, I'm like Epic gets some sort of a cut. But then if you put the game on the Epic's game store, which Epic takes a cut of a game sold on the Epic Game Store, you then don't have to pay the Unreal compensation. You
Interesting.
only have to do the Epic Game Store one.
It's fucking smart.
Smart as hell. Holy shit.
I mean, Valve's looking at it like, why don't we update the source engine? Because that shit's
uh,
old as hell.
okay, here we
Um,
go. So they typically charge developers a 5% royalty on projects that exceed $1 million of lifetime revenue.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of how
and that's not bad.
every tech corporation seems to be doing now. It's like they have an upper echelon where they give people who aren't like obviously if you're just learning or a student or you're putting out a little game that nobody cares about, they're not gonna badger you. They just want the big fish.
Yeah.
So and that's such a good way to do it because by the time you make that, you're willing to give them a percentage because you are already making a lot of money. So it just becomes a cost. Um, but yeah, I mean, it is amazing that the other thing that while watching this, and I think that everyone should watch the all the new tech that's involved in this engine, is the whole time I was watching it was I was like, oh man, here's the Fortnite money.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
because it looks like I mean they put in this is probably the biggest jump that I've seen in this engine and from all the announcements we see because usually it's a graphical jump like I think the last one for UE4 was a big like graphical thing like we had
The
not
particles were huge. Like that
particles were
was I
huge
just remember seeing things like holy shit particles.
but
And I
also
mean,
physical based rendering. I remember like a lot of that stuff was really big and like
yeah.
volumetric rendering and all that, there was a lot of graphic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think
But
it was a product at the time. Like GPUs were exceeding very, very quickly at that time, and then especially on like the new consoles, the CPU was the bottleneck of those. The GPU was pretty great, so like doing things like particles and all those things on the GPU side made more sense. And it looks like now they were like, okay, we've got better SSDs on consoles, and we've got better CPUs. Let's just go nuts.
yeah, it looks like they went freaking nuts.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
wanted. Did they
just
say what this demo was running on inside of? Because I mean, what they showed in this most
I
recent
can't
one.
remember that. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know what it's running on. I
Because
think
I
it's
want to know if it's running off of like a fucking Titan or something, which
it may
probably
be,
is.
but you know what? I mean, it's with all the upscaling and different machine learning techniques that are able to be used. It's like we're getting to a point where it really doesn't matter if you have the best console if it can render it at a lower resolution and then upscale it. It's like
Yeah,
it still looks pretty freaking good. I mean, that's what's happening to us with all the old games on Xbox Series X or and just the Xbox console community or whatever. They're just upscaling all these old games, and they look freaking good.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it means anymore to run on a really nice console or a really nice computer. I mean, it does make a difference. I mean, obviously, to run in true 4K or true whatever 8K, if you really wanted to get that far. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessary. I don't. Either way, like the things that jumped out in this this tech demo, was just their consideration of the developers. Like while you watch it, everything that they did, they considered about two people working on the same assets at the same time,
Yeah.
or also just being able to use Git style organization to be, basically allow people to work simultaneously, like the entire art team or the entire tech team to work synchronously to make the product. So there's no wasted time. There's no dependencies. I love that. Like that. Like, that's a
Yeah,
big
and
problem in development.
especially with some of the way games, like the direction a lot of games are going now, where it's not so level based, and I think that was why it was okay before. Because yeah, when you check out a scene file, I don't know if they call them scenes in Unreal, but a scene file, which is just a level, you get that, and you have to check it back in for people to work on it. And I know Unreal 4 had, I mean, I don't know if it was built in, but if you used Perforce with it, I know a couple people who are doing like a one level game where it's just one big world that just is the level.
Yeah.
And they had to do that for development, where it was like the level was broken up into these segments that they could. I think it's something called streaming assets in Perforce, and it sounds like they just built that into Unreal 5, which, thank God, because
Yeah.
that's going to be amazing.
Oh, so you could do that, like the thing with the map where you could dedicate just a portion of the map to one developer, and then you could like split up the map into, and this is just one level, which is an entire like scene. You can split it up and allow people to work on individual parts of the map simultaneously.
Yeah, I knew one person. I knew one team that was
That
doing
did this.
that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, that's good.
I don't know if it was like phenomenal. I remember them being like, it's doable. I don't recommend doing it. And at the time, it did sound like it would be a pain in the ass to either A, set up, or one thing goes wrong and a lot of things get fucked. But it seems like it's not that way. And when you think of the game Unreal Engine is getting used for the most, Fortnite, with one big map,
Yeah.
it sounds like they were like, we need this.
Well, it's a huge trend in games. I mean, like, look at all the games that are coming out. I mean, the worlds are getting bigger. We are, you know what? It's funny because, like, if you play a level-based game, it just feels old.
Yeah, it does.
And it will continue to get that way. And I think that even though we want different experiences, even in 2D games, we don't really see levels anymore. We see, big expansive worlds like Celeste, or, like these caverns, basically. We create the Metroidvania type caverns, and that's kind of the way we're going. I don't think we're going to look back. So I'm glad that they're seeing that. It's really cool. I mean, like, I'm just glad that development is paramount to like stuff like graphics for 4 and just like visual eye candy. Now they're just really like, how can we get teams to make, and the visual eye candy's there. I mean, the ray trace lighting, which is the Luminous, right? Lumen.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Lumen.
the Lumen system is all there. So it looks amazing. And just the assets, the way that they can look and just be dropped in. Oh, this is another thing you might have missed from the thing, because so they integrated the store with the engine. So now you can just drag and drop from the store into the world, and it places the thing you just bought into the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is either free or...
I haven't really tested out the pipeline for Unreal Store. I have with Unity, and it's funny because they went the opposite way. Well, yeah, yes and no. Like, they used to have like the asset store that was built into the Unity editor.
Did I say Unreal? I meant Unity. Or sorry, I meant Unreal.
Yeah. Well, I'm just comparing to
sorry.
Unity.
Okay.
They used to do that, and now it's like on the website. But then they also have some weird packet manager. It seems like they're growing to some sort of thing. But I'm glad Unreal's taking the store and integrating it so well.
Well, you know what Unity is, and I think that this is why now there is Core, which is Unreal's like basically simple. Core is a lot more simple than Unity, but the thing that Unity will always have is time to prototype.
Oh, I don't know. It depends. Like,
Really?
It depends on the prototype. Like, yeah, you can get shit really fast in Unity, but the
If you know what you're
blueprints.
doing, though,
Yeah, but
if
if
you
you
know
know
what
what
you're
you're doing with blueprints, you can get so much shit done so quickly. Especially depending on if you download a third person or first person project that just has all of the like basic assets thrown in, you can get some really basic ideas thrown in barely
yeah,
any
but
time. But the same
this
is
is
with
a
Unity.
yeah, but I think if you took someone who was just starting out and you gave them Unity and you gave them Unreal, they would
Yes.
and you took two people that were just starting out and you said make the same scene, the person doing Unity would be able to do it much faster.
Yeah, because with Unity it is just coding in C sharp. Like that's
It
pretty
is.
much everything. I mean, there's components, but like that's all it is. Where the C++ version of Unreal is monolithically a learning curve, and blueprints again, like yeah, it's tough to learn, but once you get them, yeah, it's just like I see what you're saying. At this base level, Unity's faster, but if you know blueprints and take the time, you will always be faster, in my
Well,
opinion.
I think if
Unless
you
you're
take
making 2D
anybody
games.
who's an expert, I mean, they're going to be able to run at the same speed in either engine, right? Because if they're
Yeah.
an expert in either one, and this is, this is so funny because it makes me think of Destiny, and we've talked about this in the past. It's like, and there is stuff about these jumps into learning curves, right? And yes, it's
Oh
like, okay,
yeah.
well, I have this more powerful world or engine or anything like this thing where you can do a lot more things, but you got to put the time in to learn it. It does kind of hurt for adoption. I mean, like, because a lot of people, they just want the easiest thing, and confusion is the, I mean, it's something that we all deal with and we've accepted. Confusion is just part of being a computer scientist or anybody that's developing on computers. Is you're going to be confused probably
All the time.
most of, yeah, I
Most
would
of the time.
say, yeah, it's like you finally figure something out and then there's something else you got to figure out.
Yeah, and yeah,
It
I
never
think if you're
ends.
not confused, maybe I don't know. I feel like if you're not confused, you're not pushing something forward enough. Like you're not trying to do something like I don't know. I feel like I've never not been confused making a game at
Oh
any
yeah.
point in time.
No, I totally agree. And it's just there's so many different types of things you need to learn and so many different things you can utilize. And especially every game you want to be unique. You want to do something no one's ever done. I mean, the effed up thing is to make this point solidified is if you are the greatest game maker on the planet, then you're just going to be confused because you're going to start writing white papers about things nobody's ever thought about. And so
Yeah.
it's like even if you know everything, you start then creating the edge.
Yeah, you start making people confused.
Yeah, you start making people confused. Exactly.
So they can get to your level and then you can all be confused on the next step of whatever.
I guess this is true in life. Like once it's everything. Like once you reach, like we work so hard to reach the edge of knowledge and like where people are writing white papers, things that haven't come out, and then you start to add to that, which is the push of our society's general knowledge about a subject.
Yeah,
And so it never ends. There's
definitely.
no, and I think that's the beautiful part about it because that's what makes it fun. It's never easy, and it's always something that you keep growing at. Oops.
Yeah. Um And the other thing I wanted to go on with Unreal before we get off that topic was
Yeah,
I
yeah, no, I
think
totally.
the great thing that Unreal is going to allow a lot of people to do is make games like God of War that aren't as big of a budget as God of War because like when I'm thinking about the new God of War and how it was one camera the entire time, I don't even know how they architected that technically of like they didn't I don't think they would have had levels. I mean, I know they've had like big chunks of assets because they did do that fast traveling thing, but I think we're going to see more games like that, and I hope so because God of War did it fantastically. Where it is a linear game, there's some open world aspects to it, but it doesn't ever feel. It never stops. The game just always keeps going, which is awesome.
No, and it look those worlds in that demo look really vast.
I know that's why I really want to know what the specs that was because the draw distance was fucking insane.
Yeah, and they were still talking about level of detail and like
Yep.
I don't know how they were being able to do it, but they were rendering stuff into where each camera, like there's this thing where there's two cameras and they show and the fact that they could represent this in the engine, what's being brought in and what's not, and still the level of detail on the far away stuff looks insane. But I'm sure it mimics your eye, right? Like the detail in what your eye can see.
Yeah.
Uh, at a certain distance, because at a certain distance, if you made it too sharp, it would be unrealistic.
Yeah.
So
Unreal.
Yeah, it'd be unreal. Exactly. So you can still get away with, but the way they sectioned off the polygons, and that's what I was trying to show you, was that the color thing where they were sectioning off, like
Hmm.
they section off the individual polygons for the close, I forget what they call it, but basically the stuff that's being full rendered, very small in colors, and you can see like where they're, and then they also section it off into groups for further away. And it's like, damn, dude, they really, and you can see it all visually. You can see how it's being built, and it just looks amazing.
Yeah, and I mean
Uh,
these like techniques are not like that brand new to the industry. It's just nice to have them built into an engine that's publicly available. So people who don't have the technical knowledge to achieve that in their game can easily have that in their game.
well, also all the debug tools that come along with that, the
Yep.
visualizations of the process, and I mean, that's most people won't know this, but it is super ridiculously hard to visualize debugging in graphics.
Oh my fucking
It's a
god.
pain,
That was literally my
pain
entire
in the
day at work
butt.
yesterday. Holy fuck.
Yeah, it is, because it's just like, oh, I built this whole thing, and now I gotta represent it somehow, in a debug. Yeah, it just kills you. It's like it's a
Yeah.
very tedious element, and they do it so beautifully, and it looks so effortlessly. Like you just hit a tab, and there it is. It's like,
Yeah, and the other thing, I think this one might be the thing I'm most excited about, which at first I didn't realize, but more I thought about, I'm like, this is gonna be really cool, is the animation warping, where you can take an
so
animation and warp it to the transform of something else. And their example was a vaulting animation. Then they had which you make in Maya or whatever you do your animation in. But it used to be you had to make it for a specific size, and the developers would always have to make sure you vaulted over the same sized object. Now you can adjust the animation and warp it to a different sized object so that it looks perfectly fine. That is awesome. And I think anytime that a developer or anytime someone does something that makes it to where things a developer have just had to be doing for years and years just because that's the way things were, you no longer have to do that, is awesome. And it reminds me of when Mark Cerny was talking about the PS5's load times and how there's so many tricks developers have done with doors and button prompts to get the game to load and not let you realize it. And they're like, well, now with the SSD, we don't have to do that. And we see that in
yeah.
Ratchet and Clank of just like, it used to be we'd have to play a cutscene loaded in the background and whatever, or you'd have to like rapidly press the X button while we load things. And now it's just like, no, just go. Just load into the new zone. It's so cool.
The other thing that we always talk about is how heavy these games are, being, and how much download, how much you have to download for each game, and like how
Yeah.
much the size of them are. And this drastically reduces, each one of these type of things drastically reduces how many assets you need to represent something, because now it's programmatically figured out with this
Yep.
with a singular asset. So now games will get smaller, hopefully, with stuff like this.
I feel like
I
every
don't know.
game is going to get smaller except for Call of Duty. They're just going to find a way to make it fucking bigger.
I think the funny thing about Call of Duty is I think it's like a big wiener thing.
A big.
I honestly do. I literally think they're like, we're the biggest game out there.
Jesus
Nobody
Christ.
can touch our our
Uh,
files.
And I love it because if that were true, they're fighting with themselves. Like they're just like, well, Black Ops 4 was 100. It's like, well, I'm fucking 250, and like everyone else is like not even trying. They're just like, oh, we're trying to make our game smaller, and they're like, well, ours is big.
Well, it must be good
Hilarious.
because there's that much data, so it has to be a good
Oh
game.
yeah, the
right?
game's so good because it's so
Yeah,
much damn space.
has to be.
Oh, God damn it.
I mean, those psychologically, it kind of does prove the people's love for the game, because you literally have to give up that much space on your hard drive. So you're racing.
Is
Think
it
of this,
love though? I feel like it's
but
just
you're
the
racing other
problem-
games. Like
I know,
when you
it's-
download it, you have to basically say to other games, if this was like a friendship thing, like, I'm sorry, he's too cool, I gotta get rid of you.
Well, yeah, like I said, you said the love for the game, but it reminds me of the microtransactions and people who spend $60 on a sports game and then spend another God knows how much on cards in that game. It's like that could have been used for other games, but they're
Yeah.
saying that this game is so good they just want to keep throwing money at it for fake shit.
Oh man.
My God.
Yeah, no, it's
See, I did the inverse. I deleted Call of Duty, so now I have all the space for all the other games.
well, speaking of EA, like I guess that was a big problem with Battlefront when it first came out, was
Oh
a
my
lot
God,
of,
yeah.
and I actually went back because I think it was GamerRanks that recommended it on a video that I was watching, and then I went back, holy crap, dude. And I know this is a little off subject, and we can go back to the engine if you want, but those games are better than the freaking Star Wars movies.
Oh my! So yeah, I think that Battlefront 2 deserves the award for like the greatest comeback of all time because I remember the game coming out and it caught. I mean, that pretty much caused the end of loot boxes. I mean, there's still loot boxes in games, but it was getting really bad, and that was the one that
Well,
like
yeah, there was a
brought it
big
to
pushback.
courts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they just, I don't know. I'm glad that EA didn't just cut the game. Like they did Anthem, and I mean, if you looked at that, it would have made all the sense in the world to just say, "Okay, just move on, don't make it again." But they just gave DICE the controls and just said, okay, fine, figure it out. And all they did was make that game, in my opinion, one of the best Star Wars games of all time.
Well,
And I
not
know
even
people
the
love
multiplayer. The
classic
single player
Battlefront. Yeah, the
is
single player's pretty good.
insane, dude. No, like no, because I watched the Star Wars movies. I actually prefer how because they basically did the same storyline as the sixth movie of Star Wars, whatever the hell that one was called.
With Finn leaving the
Yeah,
Resistance.
yeah. Well, Finn wasn't part of it, but they basically did the same
Yeah.
idea in Battlefront, which they had two, which was really cool that they did this. They were special forces and soldiers, and they abandoned it because, and not to give away too much, but because I think their home planet was being overtaken, and
Yeah.
so but it's the same freaking storyline, and yet I thought it was better than the sixth episode. Like I'm like, Jesus, they did a better job. DICE did a better job at telling Star Wars than the freaking writers that are supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, I don't know if I know I played some of that campaign. I don't know if I played the whole thing. I remember the only I don't I know the backlash at the time was definitely wrapped up with all of the multiplayer stuff, but I know one of the only things I saw about the campaign was just people were excited when the game was marketed as like you finally get to play as the Imperials or the Empire.
Yeah.
And then the game was like, no, you don't. You play as the Rebels again. People were like, oh man, I want like Shadows of the Empire again or something. But
No, but we did. It was both.
yeah,
It was.
so and I think it's fine.
It was the same Finn storyline, just different characters. Although, I mean, literally most of the scenes were actually redone just in a different way. Like I love that they took each, like you went to all the planets that you did in the original one. So you went to Endor, Naboo, and Jakku, which I think are the three main
Yeah.
planets in the movie. You went to all those planets. You did basically the same things that the main characters did, just in different ways, and you got to experience the entire movie DICE's way. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is awesome. Like, and the only big thing was they came out with a second addition to the story, and it was super short.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even. Although I was fighting on. Oh man, I suck at Star Wars terminology. What's the giant ships?
Are they triangles?
Yes.
The Star Destroyers?
Star Destroyers. Thank you. So you crash on a Star Destroyer, and you're fighting on the side of a Star Destroyer, which is awesome.
Oh, that's right. That game was Battlefront 2 was the one that had the Battle of Jakku.
yes.
Right? Yeah, because in the movies they reference the Battle of Jakku, but it doesn't actually happen in the movies.
Oh, you're right. They did just reference it.
I think. Well, I
Okay.
remember them having like the Battle of Jakku expansion, and it was awesome because we're just sitting there like, this is so cool that this was in the movie. And I think that DICE did probably some of the best movie tie-in stuff I've ever seen in a video game. Because it wasn't just here's
Well,
the
no,
movie
Jakku.
again.
Well, we didn't. Okay, so that was the confusing part because when the Battle of Jakku happened, I was like, oh, so it's a prequel to the sixth movie, because when Rey, right, or no, what's the girl's name?
Rey was on
Yeah, Rey.
Jakku.
So no, yeah, she was, but she got to see what had happened in the battle, and then you got to experience that battle. So you did
Yep.
fight in that battle. It's just, I don't know. I was blown away, and it actually made me. And I'm a Star Trek fan, through and through. And not that I don't like Star Wars. I just
Trekkie.
feel like Star Wars writing has gotten super lazy. Super lazy.
Yeah, no, the sequels are just a different being of stuff. Although I don't know. That's a whole other topic. But
Yeah.
I like both. I'm definitely more of a Star Wars person, but I appreciate Star Trek a lot.
You should play Battlefront 2. You should play all the campaign stuff. It was really good.
Yeah, I've been meaning to because I've played the shit out of the multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer is amazing. Like I haven't done it in a couple of years, but I did. Actually, I was a big fan of it when it first came out. I wasn't a Backlash person. I
No, I
thought it was
mean,
really good.
like the gameplay of even Battlefront One was phenomenal, and you just have to
Yeah.
like, this looks like the movies, it plays this is what I've wanted. It was just so barren. There was like not a lot, and then Battlefront Two came out, and it was also barren. They took stuff that the first one had, and it was just a problem. But now they are like they've had every single era of Star Wars. It is the penultimate Star Wars multiplayer game, and I think the only thing people are like, I wish we could have, which is space battles, which the original Battlefront 2 had, which I would I want DICE to do that, and that's why I want Battlefront 3. I want
I
Battlefront
don't
3 to
think they're
just
gonna do
be
it
Battlefront
because
2 space.
they have the Squadron series, and and that's kind of where that fits in. Although I don't know, there's a multiplayer for that? Is there a multiplayer for Squadrons?
Yeah, and I mean they have they have Starfighter in Battlefront, which is fighting in space. But what I mean is they don't in Battlefront Original 2, there was a mode where you can fly in space and then dock your on a ship and then go blow the ship up like on foot. It was like the mix between the
Oh
two.
yeah,
That is
that's really
something
cool.
that is like, holy shit, if DICE pulled that off, goddamn. And I
Well,
think
who
they
did
could do it so
Squadrons?
well.
Did Dice not do Squadrons?
Squadrons was
I can't type with the thing on my. I put the mic on my
who
computer
was Star Wars
keyboard.
Squadron? Who was Star Wars Squadrons? Motive.
Okay,
Who?
you know,
Oh my god. Who? What did they make?
the funny thing was I played through Squadrons. I loved, I loved the way the ships felt, and I loved but of course they just stole it from Dice. Because you play the ships in the campaign.
Yeah.
It's exactly Squadrons.
Well, I
But
mean, I think that's what I wanted. Like
they
when
did
I
a
play
better.
Battlefront 2 Space, I'm like, can I just have a game like this?
But in Squadrons, they did a really good job at capturing the way that the ships run, but the battles themselves were not as interesting as what I played in Battlefront 2. The Battlefront
Wow.
2 battles in space are effing ridiculous.
It
Like
gets pretty insane.
just the scenes and like the places you are, and you're like, I can't even believe I'm here and looking around. Like this is just incredible.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think we mentioned this last podcast of like, there's something about the way DICE makes games that are just more cinematic than anything else, and I think. And it's
Oh, yeah,
those moments you're just
definitely.
like, in Battlefield has those movie fucking moments, and
They
then
do.
Battlefront as well. You're just sitting there like, I feel like I'm in the Star Wars movie, not just because it looks just exactly like the movie. The graphics are fucking insane, and the sounds are awesome. But it's just like,
Yeah.
you just see screenshots, and you're like, yeah, I could see that in a movie. Some of them are better than anything I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, it is a great series. I'm really excited to. I hope they continue the episodes. I hope they tromp all over the next two episodes, because that would be ideal for me. I'd rather see it from Dice's point of view than anybody else's.
Yeah.
Because it is such a cool universe, and ugh.
Yeah, and I
wish-
haven't played Squadrons, and I really want to, because when I
It's
played
okay.
Battlefront 2, yeah, that's what I think that's why I haven't really pulled the triggers. I heard
It's
it was
okay.
okay. But when I played Battlefront 2, the only thing I wanted, I was just like, take the gameplay and make a Rogue Squadron game, like the old Rogue Squadrons by Factor 5, because those things were fucking awesome. And that's what I thought Squadrons was going to be, but it doesn't seem like it lived up to Rogue
The
Squadron.
biggest problem with Squadrons, the biggest thing that falls through, is the way that they dealt with the in-between missions dialogue, as well as just the feel of the game. It just falls really short. Like the flying is great, but they just don't make you don't feel like anything matters.
Damn
You just
it.
feel like it's mechanical, like you're just going through it. It's mechanical because the in-between missions, just like you talk to people, and it's like really non-interesting stuff. It's non-secular. It doesn't connect you to the movie or the universe at all. It's like you feel like you're just nobody in a nobody battle.
Interesting.
But the battle itself is amazing. Like the mechanics are amazing. They did a really good job. But when you played Battlefront 2 campaign, it's like you feel like you're rewatching the movie.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, because it's like I already know what these worlds are, and now you're showing me them in a different way where I get to experience, I get to be a part of them. Like you in the second one, I'll just give this away. Like there's points where you are trying to take down Star Destroyers, or you're trying to like set bombs and like and like you're part of the resistance, or you're part, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. But there's just more heart.
I'll boot it up at some point soon.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
I'm trying to get back into a single player mode of gaming because recently I've just been only playing multiplayer games just because I can pick them up and I don't have to like put effort in. And I don't want to do that. Like I want to be playing, and the other thing is I'm trying to beat Doom Eternal's DLC, but at the same time, like there's a small part of me who doesn't want to play it because I know when it's over, it's over. Like I don't know when the next time we'll get a Doom because I know this was the end of the Doom Slayer story, which doesn't mean the end of Doom, but it's just like it's so fucking good. I just don't want it to end, but I need to beat it because I've heard it's really fun.
Yeah,
and I'm getting there. I'm probably like halfway through at this point, and it is goddamn good.
The problem with Doom with me and a lot of those games is personally I like to make them very difficult, and then I get stuck.
yeah.
Because I like it. I don't know what it is when things are difficult. It's like it really makes you think a lot more about your approach or your technique when you go into battle.
Game
when they're easy, it's like you don't think about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely have restrained myself than I used to be. I used to be definitely like hard mode all the way, and now I try to go like just a little bit above normal, so I do have a challenge, but I just don't have the time to play certain games on hard as shit. But God, I do miss. There are some games that I still like with Halo. I haven't played Halo below heroic, and I don't even know how long.
The one that the newest God of War was I had so much fun with playing on the hardest setting.
I think that one I was one under.
Yeah, I went the hardest.
Still pretty good. No, I remember you playing that on hard.
There were some battles though, like when I completed them, I was like, I'm a badass. Like this is and it's not even about that. It's just it's like, I think a lot of these games for us are puzzles, right? And especially, a puzzle, especially for a fighter, it's like you think it's live, whatever, but because the enemies come out in the same way or in maybe 5 different organizations, and you figure out all 5 and you know which one you're coming through, it becomes a puzzle of like a movement puzzle or, and it's just, I love that. Like, I love the ability to like solve it and like, okay, well, I know I need to do this for this guy. I know I need to do this for this guy, and it's just really fun, but it does weigh you down. It slows you down.
I think that's why Doom is my all-time, and I think that's also why Halo has always been so high on my list of like Halo is great when it comes to their AI and those moments of like I know how to like react to what they're doing, but Doom does such a good job of like you have so many weapons. It's a big game of chess of what weapons go well with certain things and when to do it. And I think my favorite thing on difficulty with Doom is since I'm not playing on those hard difficulties, sometimes it does feel a little easy, but they have the Slayer gates, which are like absolutely fucking difficulties, and oh my god, there are times where I spend like 30 straight minutes playing Doom in this one battle trying to farm resources just enough to like live, and I'm done. I'm like, that was amazing.
Well, I like that.
Oh my god,
because the Slayer gates don't change between difficulties.
They don't?
I don't think so, do they? Maybe
I
they
don't
do.
know. I thought they did, but if they don't, like they were hard. Fucking Christ.
Well, I thought they were super hard, even on lower difficulties.
Oh yeah, I was playing on I think Hurt Me Plenty or maybe above that. They're brutal. They even tell you they recommend not playing them their first right through. They're like, play the game, get all your weapons, and then come back and play them. I'm like, nah, fuck you, dude. I'm doing it now.
But that's I like that that way where something is just difficult. It should just be like a challenge that is the same challenge for everybody, no matter what you play, just so that people can see and enter into that world.
Yeah.
I remember, like, we've talked about this before, but I don't remember which Call of Duty it was, but the plane mission.
Oh, Mile High Club.
Yeah.
Call of Duty 4. My god. That's one of my greatest like achievements of all time in my life.
Loved that. Honest. I loved that in that game. I mean, it was just so freaking hard. And I also got the achievement, or I don't know if I did, but I made it through it. But holy crap, dude.
No, I mean, I think that's something that has, I think, kind of died in... I mean, overall achievements, I feel, have definitely gone off the wayside. I think it was a bigger deal in the 360 era, but it used to be... There were certain achievements in this world, and I think it's because just, like, every game has them now, and there was such a smaller set of them. There were certain achievements that it was, like, a badge of honor to get, and that was one of the first ones where it was like, this means you're a badass if you can get this Mile High achievement.
Well, you know what they should do is they should rank the achievements or have, it's
Well,
funny
they have
because,
the rarity ones.
but on across all games.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
I
So
don't
you
not
can
on
look up.
360, but on all Xbox One games, yeah. And it was that they did it very smartly because it wasn't this is a rare achievement. It is if a certain amount of gamers have unlocked it percentage-wise, it becomes unrare. And I think the threshold might be 10% or 5%. So
So
it
you
was really
can
easy to
search all games.
retroactively
Yeah.
add. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
I
that.
don't know if there's a way to find like the rarest achievements.
But there should also be rewards. Like they should put just including the reward that the achievement goes on. There should be like bounty rewards and like I mean you could get really game you could totally gamify achievements even to an upper level across all games, which I think would be like kind of interesting because also it would help Xbox sell more games or PlayStation sell more games. Where they're like, hey, we're gonna give a bounty for this achievement that's really hard and get people involved. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
exactly what you said. I feel like the problem with achievements is it's just like a sea of fucking achievements, and then you get all like I wish you could get rid of all the stupid achievements, like I played the game achievements, like
Yep.
and just have achievements be something that is a step above or something you want to prove or a challenge to gain.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
yeah, they definitely leave it up to the developer, and I love when developers make achievements that are actually not just beat level 1, beat level 2. And I mean, sometimes when you're in the mode of trying to boost your gamer score and you're just really into that, and which I used to really be into, it was awesome when those achievements came because you could play a game and boost them up. But it is more rewarding to get the achievements that are.
yeah,
And
but
I
that's
love Call of Duty has done this really well, which is
I
they
was just
always
gonna say that.
have they always have the beat the level at certain difficulties, and I love that they do it retroactively so I can play the campaign on veteran and get them all. But then they always have like one thing in the mission that you have to do weirdly. Like, oh, defeat the enemy without losing a friend or without using your sniper ammo or something like that. And those are always fun.
But isn't the Call of Duty way, and this is what I was going to say, like it feels like the Call of Duty way of just rewarding people for amount of time played in game rather than skill. And I feel like, that's kind of where achievements and just this sea of achievements that is because you could effectively get a high gamer score by buying a ton of games that have
Yeah.
low hanging fruit achievements.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people that just scour, and that shouldn't be a thing. Like you should have like achievements, and your gamer score should be about the skill level that you have attained as a gamer. Like you are really good at beating these hard things. It's kind
Yeah.
of
I mean, yeah,
muddying the waters, man.
I agree somewhat. Like I don't know, because when you see people with high gamer scores, you're like, wow, that guy plays a lot of games. Um, but I don't think gamer score was meant to be a reflection of skill, and it was just, I mean, it is just a way to see who plays a lot of games, and that's
Well,
about
this is
it. But it
also
would be
this.
cool if there was a way to like show skill, or I. It'd be cool if you could pin achievements. I feel like you could do that at some point on Xbox One when it was more of a social platform, but
Or have different currency for so like you have gamer score points, but then you have like gold points and diamond
well,
points.
see now you're explaining PlayStation.
Oh, is that what they do? I haven't
Yeah,
played
so I was
PlayStation in a
about to say
while.
like PlayStation's got their trophy system, which was their answer
Oh, that's
to,
right.
and that I think does a really good job because a lot of the low hanging fruit are bronze or whatever, and then you've got your tiers, and then yeah, to get what I really like is they do the thing where if you get every single a trophy in a game, you get the platinum or whatever, and I like that because I mean they don't give you anything for completing a game, um, but they're used. I don't know, the 360 dashboard, I swear, had like a section that could show someone's completed games, and that just kind of went away. But I think the trophy
Yeah.
system is more. I don't know. I don't know. I like both. I don't get
You
into
know,
trophies, but I get into gamer score. Well, not anymore. I'm out of the gamer score. I hit my 100 count, 100,000, and I'm done.
yeah, I remember the trophies. I used to get the trophies and then like they had that what was that stupid fucking Next Life for PlayStation. You remember that game that
Yeah.
came out? And then you'd have your room and you could put your freaking trophies in the room and
Yeah.
like people would come over and it was a I don't what was that? It was like oh my god, what was that called? Anyways, Yeah, they thought it was going to be the next, like, everybody's going to live in this world and show off their PlayStation trophies.
Yeah.
But it's good, and I do think that's a lot better way of categorizing it, and I wish Xbox would do a little bit better of making it more. It's just really the incentive to completing these hard tasks, because right now I feel like there's not much of an incentive to complete the hard tasks, just other than for your own.
Well, something that I don't know if you've gone into is the Game Pass reward or the Microsoft rewards that they've tied into the Xbox now, which is like I think it's in the Game Pass section. You can see rewards that you get actual Microsoft reward points and you can redeem them for actual money and other things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which I do every once in a while because a lot of them is like I think you get a couple points just for playing a Game Pass game every day. You get even more for getting an achievement in a Game Pass game every day. And they have a lot of things like give 5 achievements in a Game Pass game or what. And they have like certain games like
Wait, where
like,
is this? That's amazing. I didn't even
my
know that
Xbox isn't on.
existed.
They hide. I don't know. It's not
They
even
hide
hide,
it,
but
yeah.
if you play a Game Pass game, it should throw some weird reward achievement up that's like, bam, like Game Pass reward unlocked or something.
Yeah, but if you're buying a game, where does it even give you the option to use reward points?
Well, it's not you. Okay, that would be really dope. I really wish they fucking did that. What they do is you can just
Everybody
redeem
wishes.
your points for a Xbox gift card. So I would say like every 2
So
months
this
I'm
is-
able to
okay.
get like $10 of Game Pass of Xbox money, and then I
That's
don't
still
use it.
pretty
It's
good.
just piling up. I don't know what to do with it, but yeah, it's really cool, and I wish they would like show that off more. But I'll try to find it on the Xbox so you can see because those are pretty cool.
Yeah, that is because that's the ultimate incentive that everybody's been thinking about forever. Was like, man, I should be able to use my Xbox points to
Yep.
buy games.
Exactly, and that's
'Cause I'm a
exactly what it
badass,
is.
you know?
And it's all tied into Game Pass. Like all the
Yeah.
rewards are about playing Game Pass games, and the other part of it is to play new Game Pass games you haven't played before. So they've kind of built this really great feedback loop of get Game Pass, convince you to play Game Pass, which convinces you to play it. It's genius.
No, the whole thing is amazing. Like even I haven't even tried any of the PC games that come with Ultimate, and like I know there's that whole world. And someone was telling me, like, they were asking me about their friend, and they're like, what does Ultimate get you? And I'm like, yeah, if he doesn't even have the news, he can just play PC games, because it gives you like a ton of PC games as well that you can play.
Yeah, I mean
And I-
any
I-
Xbox game I think for the forever after this point is going to be there.
Yeah, but there's also just PC only games that are on there that
Yeah.
are part of Game Pass that are included in the added games for Game Pass. That's like you get so much, so they're already connecting the two, and like the amount of games that are crossplay right now, and like
Well, and then
know,
the crazy thing was when they brought in EA Play to Game Pass, they also brought EA Play PC to Game Pass PC.
yeah,
It's
no,
insane. I want to there we go, explore the library. I don't know how big PC Game Pass has gotten.
I'm still waiting, and that's what he asked me if there's a way to access the cloud gaming through any other route than Android phone, and I actually have not paid attention at all. So I don't know if it is, but I'm like, dude, if you get Ultimate, you can just play PC games, and it's like there's a bunch of PC games that are available through Ultimate.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Let's see. So 100 games per tab. There's over 200 games on PC Game Pass.
yeah, that's awesome.
And it's crazy because I think Xbox, either I'm just not seeing these articles come out or what, but it's like they kind of secretly throw games on the Microsoft Store that have never been there before. Like I'm reading through and there's a Windows 10 version of Psychonauts, which is like that's
Sure.
I was like, okay. And then like I know they're not great and no one really recommends playing them, but all of the old Elder Scrolls games from Morrowind on have a Windows 10 Game Pass version now.
Yeah, that's
And they
awesome.
just were like, boom, it just exists. And there's a lot of games on there that I'm like, I didn't even know this game was. I knew it was on Steam. I didn't know it was on Game Pass. Celeste is on there. Wow, that's actually really cool. What the fuck?
Yeah.
There's so
Well, I
much
think
on
Celeste
here. It's
is
insane.
on the cloud version too as well.
Yeah. Oh, Disneyland Adventures. You never know what you can do.
Woo! That's also cloud, so
Oh,
you can play it
man.
on anything.
Yeah, it's
Um,
great for Xbox. Which I'm super excited. We have 2 weeks. June 13th is when we're getting Xbox E3, which they
Yeah.
said was going to be
Well, no,
Xbox and Bethesda.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bethesda, Xbox,
90
which is great.
minutes. I didn't even think about that they've both had their own things for so long, and then they would have to merge them, which I think is 90 minutes. That's gonna be there's gonna be so much shit there too.
I think most of it's going to come from Bethesda. I mean, Bethesda has a lot of up and coming things that they can show off. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've got a lot there, and I both have a shitload. Like, I think we're not gonna. I don't know what they're not
what is
gonna
it? It's called
show.
Starfield, right? Or Star? What is the
Yeah,
one?
Starfield. I'm begging them to show me just something,
Yeah,
just like an ounce of
that's the one.
fucking
I don't know if we're
anything.
going to see anything.
Every other day I see an article that is either it swaps between Starfield ain't even close and Starfield's coming out this year, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
no one fucking has any idea. But Xbox has a lot that they have in the like. I mean, there's Halo Infinite. That's going to be a gigantic part of this. It better
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. I think so.
A new Forza game is going to be coming out this year. It's got to be.
Yeah. Well, there's also Gran Turismo is coming out.
There's a new Gran Turismo. Oh, on
Yeah.
PlayStation?
Is it only on PlayStation?
Yeah,
I
Gran
don't know.
Turismo is only on PlayStation.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know anymore because it seems like
Okay,
things
yeah,
are crossing
you're
over.
right.
So I don't. But
There's other. Oh, I mean, they've got Fable that they announced last year. Yeah, they announced that
yeah.
last year. Haven't
Fable.
shown anything for. There's the new game from the. Oh, there's the Perfect Dark game. I
That's
don't
right,
think Gear
yeah.
6 is anywhere close to being shown off. I'm trying to think of other franchises that Xbox has that they could. I mean, they released. Last year was a lot of just teases. They also teased that new open world RPG from Obsidian. So
Which one?
it's the one that's based off of their is it Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember. Um, let's see, Obsidian RPG. It's called Avowed. Yeah.
Wow, I've never even heard that.
Yeah, it's a
Oh, it is.
first-person
You're right, it's Sony Entertainment.
RPG. What I know it's based off of. Yeah, will Avowed be like Skyrim? Yeah, it's gonna be all like Skyrim. No shit.
I kind of remember that. Yeah, I actually remember something about
It was super just like this is a video game that is happening right now, and
it was
no
a super
gameplay.
teaser trailer, right? When we saw
Yes.
it.
I mean, yeah, we saw Xbox
okay.
last time showed off all these like Fable was a
Yeah,
teaser.
yeah.
It is Pillars of Eternity, so it's in that universe.
Okay. I think I remember seeing it. Yeah, it's But yeah, I know that I'm actually.
Hellblade is the other one. There's
they
also
need to-
Hellblade 2.
They need to do a lot because when I look at PlayStation's upcoming titles, they're really good.
Yeah,
I mean, still like.
I know it feels like Xbox has a lot of great shit in the works, but it all feels too far out. And Sony, and it's because they went the route of like they got all these studios, and then now we can go make the games. And Sony's just been doing it, so they're just kind of repeating through the usual Ratchet and Clank, Horizon, and God of War.
Yeah.
But the potential for Xbox, I think, is greater than Sony's. I don't know what else Sony has, but I mean they've.
No, I just watched
got
a thing and I was
games that are
like
big.
I was blown away, but I'm trying to find out exactly what it was. I think it was
Because
coming
Xbox
game.
also, like last week or this week, said that from now on, Outer Worlds is an Xbox game, which means probably just not on PlayStation.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So, but the idea of they are recognizing that Outer Worlds is a franchise that will be continued upon, and I think that's that's a great thing, because I think it's a great game and can go in big places.
Let's see here. Well, there's the Horizon Forbidden West, but that's going to be both, I would imagine. Gran Turismo 7 was one that I saw. That was Returnal.
Yeah, that's out.
Returnal's out?
Yes.
Man, I'm like way behind.
I know. I've been trying to play that. I need to get it.
Yeah, Village is out. Hogwarts.
Oh yeah, that I don't know if that's PlayStation only, but
Deathloop, which is also
Deathloop that is PS5 only and PC, but
yeah, I guess it's not. I mean, is Godfell? That's good. And then, I don't know. There's just a lot of very. I'd have to watch the video that I saw again.
yeah, I'm looking through like what has been leaked of like to be shown off at the Xbox One, but I don't. Oh, apparently there's a
new God of War.
arcade. Yeah, the new God of War.
So that's a big game. New Final Fantasy to be announced.
True, Wolfenstein definitely could use another game. Wolfenstein 3.
Yeah, Gran
Okay,
Turismo I'm pretty excited about, to be honest. Yeah, you're right. That's only
yeah.
PlayStation. That game looks beautiful when they
Oh
showed it
yeah.
off.
I
Um,
mean, I am really excited to see what the new Forza looks like because it's going to be a motorsport one, and we haven't. Usually those are every 2 years, and they skipped a year, probably because of COVID. But this is going to be their new. I mean, it's got to be their brand new like Series X only, crazy realistic ray tracing, all the bells and whistles motorsport game. It's going to
yeah,
look fucking gorgeous.
yeah. Well, racing games always or any of that style look really good.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited, and I'm hoping they do something bigger with Forza. Like I feel like it's just kind of been the same thing every other time, just different cars, I guess, and maybe slight. Well, I guess every once in a while they'll be like, oh, they added like Formula One and stuff. But I want them to do something big with a brand new
Yeah,
console.
I mean, I'm sure they will. It's kind of expected at this
Yeah,
point.
the expectations are rising for sure.
The other thing that's kind of I'm curious about is why we haven't seen Flight Simulator.
Is
Uh,
that not on Xbox yet?
I don't think so. It's definitely not on. I mean, I'm only playing Ultimate games that I'm getting for free, so on XCloud. But
Oh,
I
so
don't.
apparently it's supposed to be coming to Xbox Series X this year.
Yeah, I just think that that's. I actually read this article when I was sitting in bed, which was like this. I guess they have like these Discord groups that they do the TS or not the traffic. Was it traffic control? Air traffic control. So like
Hmm.
these people like simulate air traffic control and like people. So they actually regulate the servers so that nobody like you have to fly the right way. So like if you crash, they'll kick you out.
Oh my
So it's
god,
all
this is
about yeah,
amazing.
it's all of and there was all this like the biggest air traffic control server. Like there was this a big controversy about like one of the guys. I don't know. I'll send you the article. It's really funny
That is awesome.
because they took it way too seriously, and there was lawsuits over this air traffic control group, and it was because one guy was trying to like partner with Microsoft to get them to be the sanctioned aircraft control group that was going to be integrated into the game,
Yeah.
and yeah, there was too much controversy, so somebody else got it, and it was a really good
Interesting.
read. Yeah, it was funny.
Oh, there's also Age of Empires 4, which was announced way, way back, but it's probably going to get some sort of release date or something.
Man, I really love Age of Empires. That was probably my favorite RTS.
It was a good one. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not much of an RTS person, but
even and they had the what was it, the mythology ones? Oh, those were amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, it was those were good games. I'm not big of an RTS person, but those games were definitely good. So I guess we'll just throw this one out there, the Cuphead TV show.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen I know it exists, and I haven't seen much about it.
Yeah, it just seems like the game is ultra violent. I don't. That's what my first thought was man, this game is ultra violent, and yet they're making a TV show.
I want an ultra-violent cartoon.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't think we can do that anymore. It's not the '90s.
I mean, there's some violent animes out there. I think we're fine. It's a Netflix show anyways, I think. Yeah, it's a Netflix show. Although, I mean, speaking of Cuphead, I just want the damn DLC. I've been waiting years for that.
I'm sure with the show, they're probably waiting to launch it at the same time. I mean, the show's not out, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm
Wait.
watching it right now. They're
No,
like,
it was first shown. Okay, yeah. It's sometime this year.
I mean, this is interesting because it really brings back to old cartoons like Looney Tunes and
Yep.
stuff that we haven't really seen where violence was not really, it happened, but nobody really cared. It wasn't like cartoons have changed from what
Yes,
I've seen a lot. That like
definitely.
anvils are not falling on people's heads, and people aren't getting shot by bunnies, and or bunnies aren't getting shot by Elmer Fuds.
Yeah, that's the
You
thing. It's
know,
like maybe they were like, let's bring that back. And I'd be down. I'll watch the Cuphead show for sure.
well, I just think the whole thing with the devil, like it just
That's
seems like
true.
people would not
Uh,
want this to be on television
I don't know. I mean, there's
and
a
get all.
show. There's a show called Lucifer. It's all about this dude who's like the devil or something.
Yeah, but is it made for kids?
No, it's an adult show. You're right.
Yeah. And hey, I don't care. I'm saying like kids should watch this, and that they need to learn it sooner or later.
I
But I'm
s-
just saying there's so many activists out there that I'm surprised this is even a thing.
Cody 2021. Kids should watch this.
Yeah, they
I'm
should
down,
watch
dude.
this. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be fine. I mean, well, no. I mean, I know people personally who were not allowed to watch SpongeBob growing up because it was too, I don't know. Which I
Really?
mean, that like I understand. I don't understand it. I think it's like, come on, it's SpongeBob. But there's a lot of things in SpongeBob that are towards adults, which I think those are the best cartoons have jokes for kids and adults because the adults have to watch them with the kids and they want to laugh too. And like the kids don't get it. Like there's a lot of jokes in SpongeBob that go way over your head when you're a kid, and then now looking back, you're like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Or you're
Yeah.
like, wow, I can't believe they said that in a TV show. But it doesn't matter. They don't understand any better. And now, most of the time, there'd be jokes in SpongeBob when I was younger, and I would just be like, I don't get it. And I wouldn't even ask about it. I'd just be like, yeah, whatever.
Well, it's like if you go even further back, like Popeye was a good one. They were always getting drunk
Yeah.
and like, just just a whole bunch of stuff that I mean, I just nobody thought about it. It was just imagery
Well,
on the TV and
I think this was a game theory, but I'm pretty sure it's a confirmed thing that the liquid inside of Cuphead and Mugman is moonshine.
oh, nice.
Because
Yeah,
I think in one of the clips you see when the devil gives them their abilities, like he's pouring out a jug with 3X's or 2X's or whatever, and that was like the thing from the 20s and stuff when alcohol was banned and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's a thing. So like they're just walking around, moonshine and head.
yeah,
I
that's
love
awesome.
Cuphead. It's so fucking I
I know.
want the DLC
I mean,
so
it's cool
bad.
for us. I'm just surprised because the thing is that I'm sure the show is made for adults, but it's just animated. So the second it's animated, it's like it kind of runs in that
Yeah,
area
I
where
wonder.
people can get pissed off.
I'm not sure. And I'm thinking also back to the Sonic Boom show, which I didn't really watch, and that was definitely a kid's show. But I've seen clips of jokes that I'm like, not like you shouldn't have said that, but I'm like, really? In a Sonic show? Like that's where you're going? And I'm like, there's no kid understands this in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, and I love when cartoons do that.
No, I think it's good.
I think
that
Cuphead. I don't know how much marketing they're gonna push on Cuphead's TV show, but
yeah, well, I'm gonna watch it.
oh, I'm gonna watch the shit out of it, and I want them to freaking release the DLC so I can play more Cuphead.
You know what? If they're doing this, I'm sure they're gonna release it right around the same time. They're gonna do a big shotgun Cuphead experience
and
where
I mean,
you get everything at the same time.
They were when they announced it. It was definitely like I figured it would take a while because I mean, Cuphead went through so many delays because the game took forever to make because the way they're doing art, which I love that they're doing the art the way they are. It's unbelievable.
Well,
Just
even in the
takes a
show,
long-ass
it
time.
looks like, from what I'm seeing from the show, it's all hand drawn.
Absolutely. If they did it, it would just be weird. Like the game's hand drawn, they gotta go with hand drawn in the animation. It looks
Yeah,
really
but dude,
good.
hand drawn is like a pain in the butt. Like
I
it
know the
blows,
game takes forever to fucking make.
it blows my mind that people used to do this in the past. Like they
I
were
know.
much more hardcore than, just like even
I mean,
anime
it was like all
movies.
you could do. So it was like they didn't know any better. But it was like that was just how it was.
Yeah, but that's frame for frame, like,
I know.
and like coming up with 2-hour movies frame for frame or games, frame for frame. I mean, this is
I
the
know.
first
I
game that's done
love
this.
I
But
love watching behind the scenes on a lot of the original Disney animations and like all the tech that they use for the parallaxing and it's just phenomenal.
you should watch the one on Ghibli Films.
Oh, I know. I've
Miyazaki,
been meaning to.
Miyazaki, one, that guy chain smokes, which I had no freaking idea until I watched that. And like, yeah, he's a chain smoker.
All right.
But yeah, he created all those movies frame by frame drawings. It's like, ooh, dude, that's so hardcore. Give that guy props, 100%.
Yeah. Good for him. Not the chain smoking part, but other than
I'm sure that's why he had to do it. He had to chain smoke his way
Jesus
through those.
Christ. Without chain smoking, they just wouldn't have been made.
They just wouldn't have been made.
Ugh.
Thank you, tobacco.
What a great way to end. Thank you, Tobacco of America.
Yeah, we have to thank tobacco for animation.
I'd like to say tobacco sponsors this today's podcast.
Oh, thank God.
All righty.
All right. Well, everybody, we will try to keep a regular schedule, but we are human beings, so we'll see
Yeah.
what we can do.